Have you ever seen a light turn on when no one was there to flip the switch? Out on the edge of the sea, where fog swallows sound and the ocean hides its secrets, there stands an old lighthouse, abandoned, condemned, officially dead. And yet, every few nights, sailors still see it, a steady beam cutting through the darkness, a warning light from a tower that should have no power and no keeper. So the question is, who is lighting it, and why does it only turn on when someone is about to disappear? Welcome to Dark Narratives. Tonight's story is about isolation, memory, and a structure that refuses to be forgotten. The old lighthouse that lights itself is more than a ghost story. It's a mystery soaked in salt water, tragedy, and unanswered questions. By the end of this story, you'll uncover disturbing eyewitness accounts, a forgotten disaster, and a chilling theory about what still climbs those spiral stairs in the dark. Blackreef Point sits miles away from the nearest town, just a jagged claw of land stabbing into the Atlantic. No roads lead directly to it anymore. The path collapsed years ago, eaten by erosion and neglect. At the very edge of the cliffs stands the lighthouse, or what's left of it. Its white paint has peeled down to bare stone. Rust streaks run along its sides like dried blood. The lantern room at the top is cracked, its glass clouded by decades of salt and wind. Official records say the lighthouse was decommissioned in 1968. The generator was removed, the wiring stripped, the door welded shut. No electricity, no maintenance, no human presence. And yet, fishermen swear they see the light, not flickering, not weak, but strong, steady. One trawler captain described it like this: "It doesn't flicker like a normal light. It breathes like it's alive." At first, people laughed it off. They blamed distant ships, reflections, fog playing tricks on tired eyes. But the sightings didn't stop. They increased, and then the disappearances began. Small at first, a sailor who never returned from a solo trip, a boat found drifting, engine cold, radio still humming. Each time, witnesses reported the same thing: the lighthouse was on. Sometimes fear doesn't announce itself loudly. Sometimes it waits until ignoring it becomes impossible. But the lighthouse didn't always stand empty. To understand why it still shines, you have to go back to the last man who kept it alive. His name was Edgar Hale. Edgar became the lighthouse keeper in 1952, shortly after returning from the war. He was quiet, precise, a man who found comfort in routines and silence. Every night at sunset, he followed the same steps: check the lens, fuel the generator, clean the glass, record the weather. He lived alone in the keeper's quarters, sometimes going weeks without speaking to another person, and for a long time, that suited him just fine. But something began to change. Supply boats noticed Edgar seemed distracted. He spoke less, stared out at the sea longer than necessary. His logbooks, once neat and factual, began to shift. Weather notes gave way to strange observations. One entry read, "The light turns on before I reach the top." Another said, "I hear footsteps above me." The Coast Guard dismissed it as isolation. Long periods alone can bend the mind. Paranoia, hallucinations. Then, on October 14, 1968, Edgar failed to check in. A patrol boat was sent the next morning. They found the front door unlocked. The generator was cold. The logbook lay open on the desk, and Edgar Hale was gone. No sign of struggle, no body, no explanation, just an empty lighthouse and a light that should never turn on again. Sometimes loneliness doesn't just echo, sometimes it answers back. The lighthouse was sealed after Edgar's disappearance, condemned, abandoned, left to rot against the sea. For nearly a decade, Blackreef Point remained dark until one stormy night in 1977. A cargo ship called the Maribel was navigating dangerously close to shore. Visibility was near zero. Waves slammed against the hull. Then the crew saw it. The lighthouse beam cut through the fog, steady and bright, guiding them away from the rocks. It saved their lives. When the captain later thanked the Coast Guard, the response was immediate. What light? The lighthouse had no power, no keeper, no reason to shine. An investigation followed. No signs of tampering, no hidden generator, no explanation. But the light had been on. After that night, sightings became more frequent. Always at night, always during storms, always when someone was in danger, and always seen from the sea, never from land. It was as if the lighthouse wasn't trying to be noticed, only to warn. Warnings, however, don't mean much if curiosity takes over. In 2014, a videographer named Lucas Reed decided to document document the lighthouse. Urban explorers are drawn to abandoned places, and Blackreef Point was a legend. Lucas reached it during low tide and climbed through a rusted service hatch. His camera captured everything. The interior was worse than expected. Mold crept up the walls. The air smelled of rot and salt. The stairs groaned under his weight. Halfway up the tower, the light turned on. Lucas laughed nervously, made a joke about ghosts and faulty wiring. Then he stopped because the light wasn't coming from above. It was rising with him. His breathing quickened. His voice dropped. The final words captured on the recording were, "Someone's here, and they're already at the top." The footage dissolved into static. Lucas Reed was never found. Curiosity is human, but some doors were sealed for a reason. So if no one is there and no one can leave, what is lighting the lamp? There are theories. Some say it's mass hallucination, shared myth, the mind filling in gaps with fear. But hallucinations don't guide ships safely to shore. Others say it's mechanical, old wiring reacting to storms. But experts confirmed there is nothing left inside that can produce light. Then there's the third theory. Edgar Hale never left. Some believe the lighthouse doesn't need electricity. It's being kept alive by duty. A man who believed so deeply in his role that even death couldn't pull him away from the light. Sailors say that on clear nights, if you look closely, you can sometimes see a silhouette in the lantern room, standing perfectly still, waiting. Maybe some souls don't haunt places out of anger. Maybe they stay because someone still needs them. The old lighthouse at Blackreef Point still stands, silent, abandoned, left officially dark, and yet every now and then the light returns. Maybe it's a ghost, maybe it's guilt, or maybe it's a reminder that some warnings never stop, even when no one is left to give them. If this story kept you looking over your shoulder, make sure to like the video. If you've ever seen something you couldn't explain, share your story in the comments. And if you want more stories that follow you into the dark, subscribe to Dark Narratives and watch the next video waiting for you, because some lights aren't meant to go out and some stories never let you leave the shore.